From Tennessee, Mr. DesJarlais.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and welcome. I know that the hearing's getting long and there's been a lot of questioning going on, but there's no doubt that the American people want some answers about this huge investment in a rollout of a website that certainly didn't go as planned. I mean, it's been a learning experience. It's been an educational experience. Mr. Park, looking back, knowing what you know now, looking at the rollout in October, give a letter grade to the rollout of Obamacare, A through F.
That's an interesting question. In terms of the rollout of the website, it's obviously been really rocky. I kind of hesitate to assign a letter grade to it, but it's what nobody wanted.
Well, I think the people would appreciate honesty. I mean, you don't have to fail it, but what do you think it was, A through F?
I think it depends on the user, right? There were some users able to get through, and there are other users, a lot of users who couldn't.
Okay, so you're not going to give it a grade.
I think it kind of overly simplifies it.
Well,
maybe,
but a lot of people watching want answers, and this is a complex issue, and so just maybe for simplification, they'd like to know that a lot of people who are responsible for rolling this out don't think that it went very well. To listen to this hearing, it doesn't really sound like a lot of you think it was that abysmal of a failure. This hearing started out with the ranking member talking about how this is a Republican issue, how we're out to destroy health care or the health care law, how we're trying to repeal it, how we're trying to not have this hearing to see if we can make this succeed. Bottom line is a lot of money was invested in this, and people do want answers. So it is complex, but yet in a simple fashion, I think people would like to hear that, hey, we screwed up. And Mr. Chow, can you give it a letter grade?
I agree with Todd that it's highly subjective.
Okay, so fair enough. Will anybody give?
Would the gentleman yield?
Mr. Chairman.
Perhaps we could have it as a pass-fail.
Okay.
A little less subjective.
Yeah, that'd be less complicated. Did you give it a pass or a fail, Mr. Park?
again, I don't want to reduce it to something that boiled down. What I would say is, just to be clear, all of us are frustrated about how the site rolled out. None of us think it went well. All of us think it was incredibly rocky, and we are incredibly focused on trying to fix it and make it better, and it's getting better week after week after week.
Okay, so knowing what we know now, Mr. Chow, you testified that you were given your marching orders, but yet I don't think the October 1st date was immovable. Would you agree with that?
I don't have the luxury of determining what date is movable and not movable. I was given October 1st as a delivery date, and that's what I targeted. Knowing
what you know now, would you have pushed harder to have the date moved back?
That's pure speculation. At the time—
How can it be speculation? You know what you know now.
Because I wasn't in a position to choose a date.
I'm asking today, sitting here today, testifying in front of this committee, knowing what you know now, would you have pushed harder to move the date back?
I go by what I said.
So you would let history repeat itself. It's been a rocky— Mr. Park,
what I said.
Would you have—
That is not what I said.
Okay, Mr. Park, would you, knowing what you know now, ask to have this delayed or pushed back?
I don't actually have a really detailed knowledge base of what actually happened pre-October 1. I don't know what levers were available, so on and so forth. So I just hesitate to make any pronouncement.
Okay, so once again, we spent over $500 million of taxpayer money, and no one who is responsible for the rollout is willing to say that we should have done things differently. I mean, the President doesn't know it, but first of all, we were trying to save the American people from a bad law by all that we just went through over the past few months. And really, we were trying to save the President from himself. He needed to sit down and talk with us about delaying this, and nobody sitting on this panel, after seeing what a failure this has been over the past month, is willing to step up and say, yes, we should have delayed this. Is that what I'm hearing? I didn't give everyone a chance. Does anyone want to speak to that?
Perhaps the GAO could comment on whether or not this was a site that, in retrospect, should have been launched on October 1st and serviced that full 6 people, while millions of people were unable to get through.
Clearly, knowing what we know now, a delay in rollout would have made sense. But the thing is, I don't know we're not privy to who knew what when in terms of the test results and all that kind of stuff. That's where we don't have insights into that.
Okay, well, a lot of these
After the fact,
regulations,
that's
Mr.
fine.
Chow, were delayed until after the election. Do you have any reason why a lot of the regulations that probably caused a lot of these problems were delayed till after the election?
The gentleman's time has expired. The gentleman may answer.
I don't have the scope. It's not within my scope to cover like when regulations get released or not.